Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Road to 2000. Welcome to another game. On this game, I was playing as white. Then, of course, I started with the beds opening. I know it's getting old right now, but I just love this opening. It works for me. So, if something works for you, why change it? So, after playing that, my opponent had played pawn to d5, then pawn to a6. Then, after that, my opponent played bishop to g4, pinning my knight to my queen. So, I had to ask questions, attacking the bishop. So I asked the question, is the bishop there to take or just to threaten? Which the bishop took. Then I took back with the queen. Then my opponent played knight to c6. Then I played pawn to d4, opening up my bishop, but not really opening it up because it's still close by the two pawns. Then my opponent played queen to d6. Then I played knight to c3. Then my opponent played pawn to e6, protecting the pawn. Of course, the knight playing to c3 attacks the pawn on d5. Hence, my opponent played pawn to e6, protecting the pawn on d5. Then I played pawn to b3. I don't really know why I played this move because this move is pointless. So I think I was just playing for just playing. Then my opponent castled the queen side. Then I played bishop to d3. Then my opponent played pawn to f5. Then I castled the king side. Then my opponent played bishop to e7, trying to connect the rooks. Then I just played pawn to a4 because I saw that the king has castled the queen side, so I should attack that side. Then my opponent played pawn to g5, which is a mistake. But then I ignored that pawn, but the best move is to take here. But I ignored the pawn, then played bishop to a3, attacking the queen. Of course, the queen can't take back because there's a rook there. Then my opponent had to move the queen to d7. Then I just took the pawn now. The reason I took the pawn at this stage of the game is because I saw there's this bishop exchange here. So I had to distract the bishop. I didn't know that it was gonna work. I was just trying my luck. So I took the pawn. So I distracted my opponent. Then the best move for my opponent is to take the bishop here, but my opponent was distracted. Then saw a pawn, then took the pawn first, which is a mistake. So that was the idea of me taking the pawn now. Then after that, I had this chance of playing this pawn to b4. So I wanted to make sure this pawn passes through here without the disturbance of the bishop there. So my pawn had passed through. Then when the bishop returned, I just moved my pawn forward. Then my opponent moved knight to a5. Then I took the pawn now. Then my opponent took back with the pawn. Then I took back with the check. Then my opponent played knight to b7. Then now I took the bishop. But the best move here was to play rook to b1. Of course, the knight can't move; it's pinned, and there's no piece that can protect it except for the queen, and you can't use the queen to protect the piece that's being attacked by two pieces. So the reason of taking the bishop first was because I didn't want any distractions. Hence, I took the bishop first because I didn't really need the black squared bishop. Then after that, my opponent took the bishop. Then I played rook to b1. Of course, the knight can't move. Hence, I explained earlier. Then after that, my opponent played king to b8. Then I took the free knight. Of course, not really free, but it's also a free knight because it's not protected. Then after that, my opponent moved king to a8. Then I played knight to b5. Then my opponent played rook to b8, which is mate in 1. I guess the best move was for my opponent in this position was to play rook to c8. Then after playing here, the king could actually move because that's the only move, and then there was no any other move that I could play in this position. So my opponent played rook to b8, which I played checkmate here. So that's how the game actually ended, or that's how the game concluded. So that's how it played out. Thank you for watching. There's not really much to explain in this game. They're straightforward. So please subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, comment, and share. Until we see each other on the next one.